She strutted into the upscale restaurant, her designer heels clicking on the marble floor, exuding arrogance with every step. The wealthy woman scanned the room with disdain, her diamond bracelet catching the light as if to announce her superiority. Then, she locked eyes with the young waitress nervously approaching her table. "Excuse me," the woman sneered, her voice dripping with contempt. "Are all the staff here this unpolished?" The waitress froze, her face reddening as whispers spread among the other diners. But what happened next would leave the arrogant woman utterly speechless, her smug smile vanishing in an instant. What secret did this humble waitress hold that would bring a powerful woman like her to a standstill? Keep watching. This story will leave you in awe. Before we jump into today's story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. If you love powerful stories of justice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so you never miss what's coming next. Now, let's get started. The waitress, Elena, wasn't just any server. Beneath her simple uniform and shy demeanor was a woman fighting battles no one could see. Every day she juggled long shifts to make ends meet, all while studying late into the night to fulfill a dream no one believed in. Elena had a spark, sharp eyes that noticed everything and a quiet strength that kept her going, even when life seemed impossibly unfair. But to most people, she was invisible, just another face in the crowd. That's why, when the wealthy woman looked at her with disdain, Elena didn't react. She was used to it. Dismissive glances, condescending remarks. They didn't faze her anymore, or so she thought. But something about this encounter was different. This time, fate was watching, setting the stage for a revelation no one in that restaurant would ever forget. "Is this really the best service you can offer?" the wealthy woman scoffed, tapping her manicured nails on the table. Her voice was loud enough for the entire room to hear, and Elena could feel all eyes turning toward her. Elena swallowed her pride and offered a polite smile. "I'm sorry if there's anything wrong. I'll make sure it's fixed right away." But the woman wasn't looking for an apology. She wanted an audience. "It's not just wrong. It's unacceptable. How do they even hire people like you?" she said, her words cutting through the air like a blade. The diners whispered among themselves, some shaking their heads, but no one intervened. Elena felt the familiar sting of humiliation, but she refused to let it show. What the wealthy woman didn't know was that Elena wasn't just enduring the insult. She was waiting for the moment when the truth would shift the balance of power in a way no one saw coming. As Elena walked away from the table, her head held high despite the sting of the woman's words, a subtle change swept across the room. Regular customers who had grown to admire Elena's dedication exchanged knowing glances. There was something about her, a quiet confidence that hinted at a story no one dared to ask about. Elena made her way to the kitchen, but instead of simply relaying the order, she paused to adjust a small, discreet earpiece in her ear. She gave a quick nod to the head chef, who instantly snapped to attention, as if receiving an unspoken command. "Everything okay out there?" the chef asked cautiously. Elena smiled faintly, but her tone was calm and resolute. "Handle the orders. I'll take care of her personally." Her words carried weight, a weight that hinted at something far beyond her role as a waitress. As she returned to the floor, the wealthy woman, still smug and oblivious, had no idea she was sitting in a place that belonged to the very person she'd just insulted. And in just a moment, Elena would ensure she knew exactly whose world she had just walked into. Elena stepped back onto the floor with a calm demeanor, her every move deliberate and composed. But beneath that calm, a storm was brewing. She approached the wealthy woman's table, placing down the meal with precision. "I hope everything is to your satisfaction now," she said, her voice steady but carrying an edge that no one could miss. The woman barely glanced at her. "Finally, some effort," she said dismissively, but her eyes caught something peculiar. The staff, usually bustling and distracted, seemed unusually attentive to Elena. Chefs peeked out from the kitchen, and the maitre d' was stationed nearby, watching the scene unfold with unusual interest. The wealthy woman frowned. "Why is everyone staring?" she muttered, her gaze darting around. But before she could say more, a man in a suit entered the restaurant, his eyes scanning the room before settling on Elena. "Miss Elena, everything is ready as per your instructions," he announced, loud enough for the entire room to hear. The woman's fork froze mid-air. "Miss Elena," she repeated, her voice laced with confusion. She glanced up at the waitress, who now seemed anything but ordinary. Elena didn't answer immediately, letting the tension simmer. Instead, she turned to the man. "Thank you. Make sure the final arrangements are in place." The wealthy woman's curiosity turned into unease. Who was this waitress, and what arrangements was she talking about? Little did she know, the truth was about to unravel, and she would regret every word she'd said. The wealthy woman's unease turned into disbelief as Elena walked to the center of the restaurant. With a calm but commanding voice, she addressed the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. As the owner of this establishment, I am committed to ensuring your dining experience is nothing short of exceptional." A stunned silence swept through the room. Forks clattered onto plates, whispers turned into gasps, and all eyes fixated on Elena. The wealthy woman's face drained of color, her mouth opening slightly as if to speak, but no words came out. "You," she finally managed to stammer, her voice barely above a whisper. Elena turned to her, her expression a mixture of poise and quiet vindication. "Yes, me. I started this restaurant with nothing but a dream and a determination to create a space where everyone, regardless of their status, would be treated with respect." The woman's diamond bracelet caught the light as she fidgeted nervously. I didn't know," she began, but Elena interrupted her, her voice calm but firm. "No, you didn't," Elena said, her gaze piercing. "But perhaps now you'll understand the weight of your words. Every person you dismiss, every life you belittle, has a story. Mine just happens to be one you didn't bother to see." The room erupted into applause. Regulars cheered for the woman they had quietly admired for years, while the wealthy woman sat frozen, her arrogance stripped away. But this wasn't just about humiliation. Elena's next words carried a lesson that would stay with everyone present. And they were words the wealthy woman would never forget. The applause gradually faded, leaving an air of reflection in the restaurant. The wealthy woman, now visibly shaken, looked up at Elena with a mixture of regret and humility. I'm sorry," she murmured, her voice trembling. "I didn't realize." Elena offered a faint smile, her poise unwavering. "Apologies are a start," she said gently, "but true change comes when we choose to see others as more than what's on the surface." Elena turned her attention to the room, her words resonating with everyone present. Life isn't about the titles we hold or the wealth we display. It's about the kindness we show, the respect we give, and the understanding that everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. The wealthy woman nodded slowly, her arrogance replaced by genuine remorse. For the first time in years, she felt the weight of her actions and resolved to change. As the diners began to return to their meals, Elena stepped back into the kitchen. The staff greeted her with pride and admiration, their respect for her growing even stronger. But Elena didn't need their praise. Her satisfaction came from knowing that she'd turned a moment of cruelty into an opportunity for growth, not just for the woman who insulted her, but for everyone who had witnessed it. The morale of the story was clear. True strength isn't measured by power or wealth. It's found in resilience, humility, and the courage to treat others with dignity, no matter their station in life. And as the wealthy woman walked out of the restaurant that evening, she carried with her a lesson she would never forget. A lesson that had the power to transform not just her, but anyone willing to see beyond appearances. Thank you for watching. Maya's story reminds us that standing up for what's right can create lasting change. Whether it's overcoming adversity or challenging injustice, your voice matters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on the story. Let's keep this conversation going. And remember, sharing these stories helps spread the message of justice and fairness. One act of courage at a time. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today.